Hi, everyone. Welcome to A New View. I'm Juji, and I'm here with Shira, Lee, and Kim. We are four friends, speakers, and professionals from different cultures, backgrounds, and age groups coming together to offer healing and inspiration. Today, we're going to be talking about something that came up for me in meditation. We talk about meditation all the time. And I was just feeling a lot of mixed emotions because I was getting ready to launch my new website. I work for myself. That can be really scary sometimes, especially because I tend to compare myself to other people who have similar businesses to me. And I remember in this meditation, I was asking to be able to figure it out, figure something out. What was I doing differently or wrong, or what should I be doing? What could I be doing? And there was just this like little voice inside of me that bubbled up, and it got louder and louder and louder. And I swear it was my higher self saying, there's nothing to figure out. And that really like knocked me out, because I was like, I've been trying to figure it out my whole life. And I think, Shira, when we were preparing for this, you brought up this visual of the like white knuckling it through. Like when you are driving on the highway of life, just trying to have this like really firm grip on the steering wheel. And that was sort of like the physical experience that I was having, like wanting this control, wanting to like know what I needed to know in order to move forward. And this idea that I was here to surrender to the unknowable, the unknown, you don't know what's going to happen. You're just here to trust that if you feel aligned to this new venture of yours, that it's going to be taken care of. And that till this day is probably the hardest thing about working for myself, because I don't have a guarantee for where my next paycheck is coming from. I don't have a guarantee of like who's going to show up and what they're going to be like. It's literally just all up to the universe in a lot of ways. And the level of surrender that takes is like, whew. The level of not wanting to control the uncontrollable is just so far beyond anything that I could have expected for myself, because I always needed to know. I was always the strategic shark, just trying to like figure out my next move. Because if I stopped trying to figure it out, then I felt like I would drown. So I really wanted to like open up the discussion for anybody who has felt something similar and has had similar breakthroughs with this. Shira, I see you wanting to say it.
Sometimes it takes things like a global pandemic to make us realize that we can't control shit. Mm-hmm. But the truth is, I mean, just the word uncontrollable, it's so self-explanatory. You cannot control it. So white knuckling it isn't going to make it better. It's not going to make it more controllable. If anything, it's going to make you more out of control. And the only person you can control is yourself and your reactions. So like put your mental real estate there. That's the valuable lesson from all of it. Is it easy? Abso-freaking-lutely not. But that's where prayer, I mean, to me, surrender, prayer, meditation, all of that stuff that's outside of our own little monkey brains, that's where the answer lies. And we're so led to believe that if you just do this, or if you just do that, that you'll arrive at your destination. It's like, no, it's not up to you. It's not up to you. Just let go, let go. And it to me, it's been an absolute game changer for me, because when I stay in my lane and I trust myself, and, there's the higher power and God and all of that, which I personally believe in. But even if you don't, just believe in yourself. And by staying in my own lane and controlling what I can control and being inspired to take action rather than white knuckling my life, I feel like so many beautiful things I've allowed to come in. You guys know that's one of my favorite words is allow. Just allow, be patient, allow it, let it come to you. Keep focusing on it. Keep your heart and mind focused and clear as it can be. And it's just a whole other way to live, honestly.
Love that, Shira. I think most of us at some point or for most of our lives are basically control freaks. Especially us women, maybe, because we want it to be right. We want it to be perfect. We want it to be good. We want to be loved. We want all the good stuff. And a lot of the stuff that we try to control, I feel, is not always the stuff that's happening now, that I want to control this, I want to do this without even realizing sometimes, but it's even stuff from the past, right? So in my experience, it's even stuff from the past that I am trying to figure out now. And it's not worth it. You know, it's another control thing of like, what did I say? What did I do? How could I have done it differently? And it's one thing to think about how you may have done something differently that may have benefited everybody. But when you realize that thing has been out of your control, you know, that's when the surrendership, I believe, comes in, which is huge. It's such a huge challenge for some people, or I know for me in the beginning, when I learned about surrendering and let it go, like just let it go. And it's actually freeing. It's so freaking freeing to realize I don't need to solve this. I just don't, you know, just surrender and let it be. And there are, you know, and believe and trust is a big thing. You've got to trust that there is a power beyond you that also can help things, you know, get fixed or get in line and things like that. Such a huge thing, surrendership, because we continue to control. I think we get better at it, at not controlling so much. And again, with the realization, I know this comes up for us in every episode, is the realization, being aware of being in control or wanting to be in control, which we shouldn't.
You know, you guys said so many good words: trust, believe, surrender. I've for so long, since I can remember, have been focused on fixing, healing myself, my skin issue. I believe somewhere I have control, and I know I don't, but I believed it for so long because I've healed myself in the past through diet, through supplements, through tons of different practices, through self-love, self-care practices, through seeing practitioners one after the other. So on some subconscious level, I've put all this pressure on myself to control it but that only sets me up for failure, because then if it comes back, you know, if the skin issue comes back and I have some inflammation, if I see one spot of psoriasis, or if I get a whole slew of it, no matter if it could be the tiniest little thing, and then it's like the beating up starts. Oh, but I did that, and I did that, and I did that, and oh, I just need to do that even more now, you know. And it's like it's so unhealthy, and it's so like just living in resistance, and it's so the opposite of letting go. And lately, I've been working on this letting go, and letting go of also like limiting beliefs about feeling like a failure. Juji, your mom, she's this amazing spiritual guider. And like, she pointed out to me that I, you know, subconsciously, I guess, feel like when I don't heal myself, I failed. And then that just kind of, you know, is like a domino effect emotionally. And that there's just nothing for me to do, like just to be. that's really difficult for a person to just be with all that uncertainty, whether it's through trying to heal something in your body, whether it's through trying to make a career for yourself and know where your next paycheck's coming from. Like that uncertainty, I just want to know. I want to know. But the letting go, I was sharing how I'm working on that right now. I'm working on letting go right now. I was sharing that with a friend the other day, and she goes, well, how do you do that? How? And I said, I'm asking my higher self to show me clarity on the how. I'm asking my higher self for support, like you said, Shira, like via prayer or just talking to someone, something, anything, source, and just asking. And then there's this other piece of like, and trusting that the answers are within you, and you're going to be led to those answers. So it's like the asking piece and then the trusting piece, I feel, are just so crucial. It's I think working through that surrender is probably one of the toughest things ever. So for me, it's working on like the trusting piece, or like working on the pieces sort of one at a time to lead me to this overall of just, but I have to tell you, just even thinking about letting go and thinking the thought like, oh, I don't have to do anything. Huge weight off my shoulders. Like I don't, like Juju, you said, there's nothing, what if there's nothing to figure out? And I was like, what?
Really?
Well, I have like a beautiful visual for this, actually, if you guys want to hear it. Because I actually, a spiritual teacher of mine said this, and I thought it was such a beautiful analogy for life, which is like, we think that when we're trying to figure it out, we're trying to control, like, think of ourselves like in a canoe, like paddling as fast as we can. And it's like when you have this instinct that you want to figure it out or you want to control something, you just keep paddling faster. What if like you don't just put the paddle down, you lay down in the canoe? You don't see where you're going, which is like the most uncomfortable. You're just being swept along on this stream of life. And you're here to trust that that stream is taking you exactly where you need to go. But people have this perception that like, no, I need to see where I'm going. Or if I stop paddling, I'm just going to, like, everything is just going to stop. Which couldn't be further from the truth, because you don't know what's around the bend of any given circumstance. It's just this perception that we have that literally you stop doing things and life as we know it is just going to halt. Like everybody's just gonna be like, stuck in one position and nothing is going to happen. But like you said, Shira, the more that you can like be still in those moments when your instinct wants you to bulldoze through it and figure it out and paddle faster, that's when the stillness can allow. So to me, I always feel like when I have a day of feeling like, oh, I have too much to do and I'm really overwhelmed and I'm getting this anxiety and blah, blah, blah. Like that's my first indicator that I need to stop, which is the exact opposite of what my brain wants me to do, and go on a walk. You don't have time for a walk.
Right.
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. In fact, if I don't take a walk, it's not going to work anyway. Whatever it is that I think that I should be doing when I'm on that walk isn't going to be satisfying. It's not going to turn out the way I'd like it to. It's just not going to be the quality and the aligned product that I want to put into the world, because it's done from a frantic place. It's done from a desperate place. It's done from a controlled place. Whereas if I go for a walk and I'm like, nature is perfect, by the way. Like that's what I love so much about walking and being in nature, is because it's such a good reminder. Animals, trees, flowers, they don't try to control shit. They are just moving along life, letting it happen. You know, the cycle keeps going, whether or not they exist or not. They don't question any of it. And just being out in nature reminds me to be still. Just being out in nature reminds me that like literally the breath in my body is all that I need to care about. Like it's gonna keep circulating no matter what, you know.
Well, it's really, oh, sorry, Jude, I mean,
Oh, go ahead.
No, I'm just thinking to myself, it's so nice if you can come to that conclusion in your life before you crash and burn. Because for most people, it requires I'm paddling, I got to figure this out, crash into a tree, go down a waterfall, like, right? But that's never a bad thing necessarily, unless it kills you. But if it doesn't kill you,
or makes you sick.
Or makes you sick, right? So for a lot of us, we're just like white knuckling our way through life. And then, because I'm reading a book now called Willpower, highly recommend it. And they use some famous people like Eric Clapton, for example, who was like an alcoholic and a drug addict and all of that. And it literally took him to get down on his knees and pray to a God that he didn't even believe in for him to stop drinking. And the whole book, the chapter I'm reading right now talks about all the anonymouses, Alcoholics Anonymous, Codependents Anonymous, like all of these 12-step programs to me, because I'm in one right now, as you all know, has been an absolute game changer for me, because it's all about like step number one is to understand that you're powerless over whatever it is that you're struggling with. Mm-hmm. And when you surrender, that's why it's step one. Because that's the first domino that has to fall, is to admit that you're powerless over it. If something keeps showing up in your life and you're not getting it, you have no power over it. So just take your power and give it to someone else, something else. And I just wanted to say the Serenity Prayer, which we all know is God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. The group I'm in says, God grant me the serenity to accept the people I cannot change, the courage to change the one I can, and the wisdom to know that one is me. And that's where the power and the surrender actually come into play. And it's such a beautiful thing to adopt.
And this is such I think, hard concept to actually digest, in most cases. And like you said, a lot of people have to go through some kind of a major trauma in life in order to start surrendering and freeing themselves of that white knuckling. And especially with things that are physical, Kim, for example, like the skin thing, or when somebody has a weight issue, these are things that we are told, do this and you'll get that, eat this way, use this lotion, use this cream, get this injection. And so we try, we are beings that will almost try anything, to control the situation the way, we want it to be controlled. And in so many cases, I think it's just not, people don't see it, especially when it is a physical thing for your body, because there are these days, especially with helping and gurus and coaches, like there are a million solutions for everything. Some of them are shit and some of them are legit, but how do you decipher?
Well, and there's so many, our society loves to like focus on like we're action oriented, or at least pushed in that direction. I mean, that's all I see is like, you got to take action, you got to take action. And trust me, I believe in taking action. Like Juji, you're taking total action right now, creating a career for yourself. Lee, you too, Shira, you with your music, like, yes, action is to be taken. But when you're in a situation where you are trying to surrender and let go of something and not trying to, control it and really, it's just, it's contradictory, obviously it depends on the situation, but there's so much with skin that's out there that's do this, do that, do that. Have you tried that? Have you tried this? No, that doesn't work. Try this. And I mean, I just feel completely exhausted of all of it. I want nothing to do with it now. And like, it was almost like the second I heard the words, can you just be done? Your mom said, can you just be done with it? And I literally was like,
thank you.
Yeah, like I couldn't help but tear up, because I was like, all of a sudden that statement felt so relieving. Like, oh, you mean I don't have to take all those supplements, and I don't have to put coconut oil on me if I don't want to, or I don't have to, like, it was just like all this conditioning in the skin world I've been in for 30 years now. It's like, can I just let go of all of it? And it's so freeing and relieving. And it's like, it's amazing. It's just,
Because
it
Kim,
really,
you're dealing with it in a different way. You're not dealing with it like I have to put this oil on my skin. I have to heal myself from whatever emotional thing. So that's an inside job, not an outside job.
totally. And there's inside jobs and there's outside jobs. Well, actually, no, it's all inside because it's all in there.
Totally.
I was just gonna say, Kim,
Yeah, I
I think
believe
that what you just said is so perfect in summation, which is, taking action when it feels good is the direction, right? Like that's the difference. Does it feel hard or does it feel easy? If it feels easy, that's sort of your indication that that's a direction that your energy wants to flow to. It is when something just feels so darn hard. And it's like deconditioning this idea that things need to feel hard in order for them to be successful.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's what we need to let go.
Yeah. This reminds me of Deepak Chopra has, I used to listen to him once in a while in some of his meditations, and there's a law of least effort. And so this actually, we can kind of incorporate this into our job and career episode that we did as along with this one with control, because most of us feel like we have this preconceived notion that you've got to suffer to make it. You've got to suffer and work so hard and put so much effort into something in order to get the solution and resolve something. But no, you don't necessarily need to do that. The law of least effort says you can put the least effort into something and really get a lot more abundance.
And go with the flow of life.
And take action when you're inspired to do so.
Yeah.
Oh, that was.
You guys, that was such a good place to wrap it up and round it out. We hope you enjoyed our conversations as much as we did. If you liked our videos, please subscribe to our channel and be sure to let us know if you have any topic requests or questions by commenting below. We'll see you soon. Thank you for watching. Stay safe, everyone.
Bye.